2 documents. That's what separates candidates who pass the PMP from those who don't. Not years of experience, not intelligence. Their understanding of 2 documents and how those documents actually work together. The ECO and the PMBOK guide. So here's the idea. One is the map, one is the library. Let's understand why that distinction changes everything. Here's the mental model. The ECO tells you what to do. The PMBOK tells you how to do it. 4 words. 2 documents. And yet most candidates walk into the exam without truly understanding this difference. They spend weeks reading the PMBOK guide, hoping it will tell them what to study. It won't. The PMBOK is not your exam guide. It's your toolkit. What does this mean for you? It means your study strategy starts with the map and then opens the library, not the other way around. Let's start with the map. The examination content outline, the ECO, is your job description. Think about what a job description does. It doesn't teach you how to write code or use a project management tool. It tells you what you're expected to do, what responsibilities you own, what outcomes are required. The ECO does exactly the same thing for the exam. It defines the scope, the boundary, the playing field. Everything on the exam lives inside this boundary, and nothing outside it is on the exam. So what exactly is on the map? 26 tasks, 26 specific responsibilities that a project manager must perform. Things like lead the project team or plan and manage project compliance. Here is what makes this critical. Every exam question, every single one, is a scenario derived from one of these 26 tasks. Not most questions, every question. If a task is on the map, you need to know how to perform it. If it's not on the map, it's not on the exam. That's the playing field. Know it completely. The metaphor is simple, and it works. A roadmap doesn't teach you to drive. It doesn't explain the engine or the traffic laws. It shows you the destination and the route. That's the ECO. Not a textbook, not a teaching tool. A map. Study it like one. Know every destination on it, because every exam question is a journey that starts from one of those 26 points. Now let's flip to the other document, the PMBOK guide. Where the ECO tells you what to do, the PMBOK tells you how. Imagine sitting at your desk. You have a problem to solve. Behind you is a massive reference shelf. Books on leadership, risk management, procurement, agile, communication, every topic a project manager could ever need. You don't memorize every book on that shelf. That would take a lifetime. You know the shelf is there, and when a specific problem comes up, you know which book to pull. That's the PMBOK guide. So what's actually inside this library? Principles, performance domains, processes, models, techniques, tools, and artifacts. These are the building blocks of the profession. And here's the key idea. When the exam gives you a scenario, you're not being asked, what does this term mean? You're being asked, given this situation, which tool do you use? That's a different question entirely. The PMBOK isn't something you read cover to cover. It's something you understand deeply enough to navigate under pressure. That's the difference. The library metaphor does something useful here. Think about how you actually use a library. You don't sit down and read every shelf in order. You learn how the library is organized. You understand what lives where. And when you need something, you find it fast. That's exactly the skill the PMP is testing. Not memorization, navigation. Can you hear a scenario, recognize what kind of problem it is, and pull the right tool from the library quickly enough to apply it? That's navigation. That's what passes this exam. This is where it all comes together. The exam gives you a scenario based on the map, an ECO task. Your job is to open the right section of the library and apply the correct tool. ECO task plus PMBOK tool equals the right answer every time. This is what PMI is really testing. Not whether you've memorized definitions. Not whether you can recite the process groups, whether you can see a real project situation, identify what kind of task it is, and apply the right method to solve it. That's the whole exam, right there. Let's make this concrete. You're in the exam room. A scenario appears. 2 team members are locked in a disagreement about a technical approach. Work has stopped. Something needs to happen. What do you do? Before you look at the answer choices, step back and locate yourself on the map. Which eco task is this? Task 1.2. Manage conflict. That's the destination. Now you need the vehicle. The scenario is fully visible now. Two people, a technical disagreement, progress blocked. What makes this a PMP question is not the conflict itself. Most experienced project managers have seen team conflict. It's the fact that the exam wants to know what a skilled PM actually does about it. Not instinct, not a gut reaction, a trained, deliberate response. And the trained response comes from the library. Here's where you open the library. First, the Tuckman ladder. This model tells you that conflict is a normal stage of team development. The team is probably in the storming phase. Not broken, not failing, just developing. That gives you context. Then you apply the conflict resolution approach. Specifically, direct and collaborative resolution. Not avoidance, not forcing a decision. Collaboration. Because the PMBOK is clear on this, in most project scenarios, collaborative resolution produces the best long-term outcome. So what just happened? The ECO gave you the task. The PMBOK gave you the tools, you connected them. That's the formula. So here's how this applies to your actual study plan. Step 1. Learn the map. Read through the 26 ECO tasks. Understand what each one is asking a project manager to do. Know the playing field completely. Step 2. Build the library. For each task on the map, find the PMBOK tools that apply. Which principles? Which models, which techniques. Step 3. Practice the connection, because that's the real skill. Take a scenario, find the task, pull the tool, value delivery through the right knowledge, applied at the right moment. That's the exam, and that's what this course prepares you for. See you in the next module.